Wait.
Let's talk about the Tigers.
Yeah. How about that? Starting off 2-1, matching last year's win record.
You got a pretty good little, You got a pretty good little running back, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of become. I mean, that's becoming a point of contention.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. He's phenomenal. My contention is not with the kid or the production. My contention is like, what are we doing? What are the conversations that we're having? And what are they leading to when it comes to collegiate coaches and recruiting and things of that nature?
I just was playing because I love the game. Like, and it's scary to me.
It's really easy for the game to become a job.
Below 6 in his hands, whistle in his mouth.
Man, kids out there playing the game, staying out of trouble, competing. I love it.
What is it, week 3? I mean, I think you're not going to have a conversation until, if anything, week 5.
So, and I guess that's my problem is I'm telling you a kid averages 9 yards a carry for the first 3 games. He has 12 touchdowns, and you're D2 FCS G5. And of all the messages and the texts and the DMs that I've sent, I have gotten one response that wasn't like an emoji. And
he's still a child. That's why.
He's not, though.
He's
a senior.
He's not 23 years old.
Okay. But my point is that, and straight up respect to Coach O, right? Like, people have a lot of different opinions about Coach O, but Coach O is the only one that I sent it to. And he goes, we already have a 26 commit at running back. And I said, okay, thank you. But you tell me all the time, like, oh, we just need to see how the season starts. Like, I talked to multiple coaches about him in the spring, took him to camp in the summer. Like, we just need once he's healthy and once he gets a couple games under his belt, get in touch with us. And it's like, okay, well, I messaged you after the 377-yard performance. And then I messaged you after the 304-yard performance. And now I'm messaging you because we've played 3 games and he has 993 yards rushing. And what are you guys waiting for? I'm not looking for you to say, Coach, we'd love to offer him right this second, but I'm looking for a response. You know, I'm getting left on red like a 16-year-old girl, you know, trying to land a homecoming date. Like, what are we doing? You can't even say, Coach, I'm not going to lie, he's off the board for us. Like, he was never legit. Just tell me the truth. And I know we've had a version of this conversation. I know I'm on a soapbox, but what are we talking about?
Well, I mean, there's probably a few things that, I agree. Like, it's, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, he's getting blown up right now with offers. There's a few things that I'm not going to talk about on this podcast that probably are the reason why. We can talk about that another time. But I mean, it is what it is. I mean, it sucks. Also too, it's like, what'd the kid rush for last year?
650 in 5 games.
That's a big deal.
But he went for 1,700 his sophomore year.
Well, there you go. I was going to say, what do you have sophomore year? Because it was still 650. That's why. I mean, it's almost like
he had 25 touchdowns his sophomore year.
Yeah. Well, then that's interesting. I wonder, now my brain from a recruiting perspective is almost like, okay, he was on the board as a sophomore, fell off junior year, senior year. It doesn't matter if you're the Heisman Trophy winner. If you're a senior, it's like, oh, we're looking at a freshman right now. Which, like, again, even 5 years ago, that's where 5 years ago your Tarleton States would have flourished because they're getting a Zach Henshaw because he did it as a senior or whatever. And it's like, but now, even the Commerce or the Tarleton, Tarleton's, they're obviously really, really good now. But you get the point, like, some of those D2s now are like, yeah, but hey, we're probably still going to get a guy that was in the portal, thought he was going to Texas, didn't happen. He's already played in 3 games, and he's 22 years old. We're going to get him instead. Sorry.
Well, and I mean, I understand that part of it, but like, I look at it from the sense that, like, I mean, Josh Jacobs coming out of high school is not that long ago, and he had basically nothing, was unranked, and then somehow the Alabama staff gets his tape, and then they offer, everybody else in the world offers, right? They follow suit, whatever. But like, that all happened as a senior. like 3, 4, 5 games into his senior year. And you're sitting there going like, we're not that far removed from and I know that Josh Jacobs is the exception. I mean, gosh almighty, he dominates in the NFL, but like the process aspect of it is so frustrating because you're telling me, and again, I know we've had this conversation, but you're telling me in the spring, February to May, you're telling me like, coach, hey, can I get your prospect sheet? Can I get your prospect sheet? Sure. But I also could tell you about the 2 kids that are recruitable in our program. And I could go in great length. And we sit down and we do that. And we do it face to face, or we do it over the phone, or we do it via email. And you're like, all right, well, keep me up to date. And I'm keeping you up to date. And I know you're busy and you got 14,000 kids that you're trying to evaluate and recruit. But to me, if I send you something, you could watch 25 seconds and know exactly who the kid is, because that's your job. But watching 25 seconds and telling me, coach, he's not, I'll just be honest with you, he's not on our level. Coach, we don't think that he can play. Like, but you're slow playing me to the point where you're not moving because you're not saying anything. And if I'm getting that response from a Division II coach, and then in February, you're going to be asking for my updated prospect sheet, wow, God's green earth would I communicate with you? But then I have to, because it's in the best interest of the kids, and we come full circle to that. So it's just like, first off, like Dawson's a great kid. He does everything that we ask. He runs his tail off. He works his butt off. He fought through a ton of injuries and worked really hard to get healthy this past spring. And he's seeing the fruits of his labors. And it's my job to knock on the door, and be the salesman, and somebody's going to say yes, and they're going to get a steal. But the fact of the matter is that a lot of people are going to ignore the knock at the door. And I would be lying if I said I wasn't keeping track.
No, I mean, I get all that. I mean, I'm not saying it's right. I don't think it's okay. I just think that's where we're at nowadays. And those smaller schools are saying he can't play at our level. That's their way of saying yet. Maybe he can as soon as I don't get the guy that I thought I was going to get from University of Arkansas. And all of a sudden now that guy doesn't, he actually goes somewhere else. And actually, you know what? Maybe your kid can play. So I think that's just.
And then we get into the like, well, they're just waiting for somebody else to offer. And it's like, here we go again. How many times have we heard that? Yeah. But big picture, right? Looking at the whole scheme of things, we're sitting at 2-1. We were, 9 inches away from being 3-0 this past week. And I know this probably isn't why people listen, but I don't care, right? I'm going to say it anyway. I'm super proud of our kids and the way that they've played these past 3 weeks. The way they handled adversity on Friday night, it was a back and forth game. Pottsboro is a great program. Poe's been there for 17 years, and they do a lot of good things. But these guys, since the jump, since I got hired in January, these guys have done every single thing that I've asked. And the program that we do has not changed, right? But we're seeing fruits of our labor. We're seeing results throughout the process a little bit earlier than have happened in the past. And I think I just want to make sure that it's abundantly clear that's a testament to the kids. It's not a testament to anything else. We didn't reinvent the wheel, right? The squat rack didn't change. We didn't redesign the bar, right? We didn't change the dynamics of the track. None of those things changed, but what did change is the investment and the commitment that the kids showed. And I kind of get to sit back and just say, this is yours, right? Like you're getting that fruit. It's not a delay. It is a delayed gratification, but it's not a 12-month delayed gratification, right? We're in the thick of it. And these guys are finding out that they're a highly competitive football team. And fingers crossed, knock on wood, we're going to fight to stay healthy and push this thing as far as we can this season. So really proud of the kids, proud of the coaches. We've had some internal tragedy and adversity that we've dealt with, and it's put more responsibility on assistants, and it's it's loaded up some guys' shoulders with expectations that they haven't really had before in their career. And they've answered the bell, and the kids have responded and not questioned anything. And our ability to support the staff by, picking up a little extra work and helping carry that burden has been really cool to see from my perspective.
I also wouldn't totally discredit yourself. I know obviously you're going to be very humble. I think at the high school level, very few kids out there can find their internal motivation from, some type of permanency. I think at the high school level, hope and belief comes from like an inspiration, and it comes from something else. And generally at the high school level, the head coach and the environment in which and the investment of which he provides is a lot of times where that hope and inspiration comes from with the kids. And the moment they have that, that is the fire that's now ignited, because they are now fighting for each other, but fighting for something bigger than themselves, which now it's a lot easier to squat that heavy weight because I'm fighting for something. I've been a part of programs in the past as a player and as a coach to where there's not belief in the program, there's not belief in the coach. And then so you get under that squat rack, a little bit harder to lift those weights because, well, why should I? What's the point? What's this extra rep going to do for me? And so it's a credit to you, obviously, in the program you're running and the coaches and the job that they're doing. Shout out to you guys too.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
How about the ties you got? I mean, you're repping them right now. Vandy off to another hot start.
Yeah.
Seeing a lot of good things out of them.
Yeah, man. It's yeah. I mean, like, again, I'm very, very small piece of that puzzle that the Doors are, but they're doing. You talk about seeing the fruits of labor. That is it. Is Vanderbilt right now? I mean, you watch the South Carolina game, and it was not a game of like, give South Carolina 5 more minutes and they're probably going to beat. Because like you see that a lot of times from teams that are trying to make it, like you should give the other team a little more time, they would have beat the crap out of them. No. You give that game 5 more minutes and Vanderbilt scores again and again and again. Like they out physicaled South Carolina for the first time since Bobby Johnson. I think 17 years maybe. But yeah. And then also, like I'll say this too, like testament to Clark and what he's built, because it's special. And without foundation, the roof and how pretty the roof is doesn't matter. But you ain't got a quarterback, you ain't got a program, and you can have the best culture ever. You can have all these things, and that those things do matter. But if you ain't got a quarterback, you'll never see those things come to fruition, in my opinion. And like, I feel like Diego's kind of proven that a little bit. Like, it's a big deal, and how and what he is doing and the inspiration he's provided along with Clark in that it's crazy. And it to happen that quick. It's almost a real revelation to me too. Like I always believe that, like if you ain't got a quarterback, you ain't got a program, but like I see it now and I'm like, my goodness. Because you see the opposite with other teams too. It's like, whoa. But now with Vanderbilt, I'd say, okay, they have a great quarterback, but in my opinion, the best program in the country. Watch out, because that's unshakable. Like those roots are so deep now, whereas like other programs have had a great quarterback, roots aren't very deep, easy to break that tree. And so really fun to watch them. I will say personally, like this is obviously the hardest season for me ever. I go through like, I guess I'll be very vulnerable here. Plus my wife too, because she's got to put up with me, and my daughters too. But it's like, and my son, even though he has no clue, how I'm acting right now. But basically, here's my life right now on a weekly basis. I'm great Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I start to get a little upset. It's kind of sad on Thursday. I get really pissed off on Friday. Real mad on Friday. Sad on Saturday. Getting over it on Sunday. Great on Monday. Like
Start
that's my
over.
week. Yeah, and obviously like that is like I'm being so selfish in that regard, and I need to do better with that. It's just a season of life I'm in right now. Because I see certain things where it's like Lipscomb was playing Nuggets Catholic the other night, and it's like, oh my goodness, like I will dial up that defense right now. Like, what is going on? Like they're trying to go cover 3. There's no midpoint corners. What? Like, and it's that, and it's just like I know where I belong. A, it's with Christ, but B, like I'm a coach, and so like, and I'm not able to really do that, and it's just tough. And so, those of you that are coaching out there, and you find those times where you're getting into week 4 and week 5, and you're getting tired. Know the opportunity you have and embrace that, because there's people that would die for your job right now.
100%. And I think the other piece of it is that like you know, you're living out this like football version of Groundhog Day, but doing it in a 7-day interval, right? But I think it's interesting because like the day-to-day description you just gave, like on Thursday, you've never really appreciated being able to walk out to a sub-varsity football game as much as you probably do right now. Right. And it's crazy to say because like this last Thursday and then this Thursday, we'll host 3 junior highs in a sub-varsity game at our location. And then we're sending another team to another place. Right. But 4 games is a lot. We're going to start at 4:30. We're, fingers crossed, going to be done by 9. Right. So that's a long night on a Thursday. You got a game on Friday, but at the same time. Right. And I think you're in a different version of the same thing that I had to go through 2 years ago, where that humility you get introduced to changes your perspective and your approach. People ask me all the time. I had a buddy of mine say like, yeah, you seem different. Like you seem pretty happy. And I was like, well, I had the world, right? I had the world without knowing that I did when I was in Salina. We had it all, right? Oh, you want a $26 million facility? All right, we're going to build that. You want, quarterbacks that can throw it 70 yards and be Division I starters, and kids that throw 93 off the bump and can play quarterback. Like you want to coach all that? Sweet, we got it. Right? You want a 6'7" wideout? We got it. You want a 4-year starter at tight end? We got it. We got all these pieces, and they're showing up at 5:30 in the morning, and they're doing hey, hit your head on that cinder block wall every day for 6 months straight, and we'll win a state championship. And zero hesitation. There's a crack in the wall and a little bit of dried blood, right? Like that's where we came from. And then you step out and you go, oh, the rest of the world's not like that. So when you get any similar, right? You get anything that's parallel to that path, you go, man, welcome. Like we're back. We got something here that we can really dig into, and we can go to work. And I think I think it, right? You're just you're in your own head. It's like I told my wife the other day, listen, I'm allowed to be annoyed. I'm going to be annoyed for 7 more minutes, and then we're going to move on and everything's going to be fine. But for these 7 minutes, I'm just going to wallow in my own annoyance. And I'm not going to say anything. You're just going to see me over here by myself being annoyed, and then we're going to move on. Life's going to be great, and we're going to get back to work. But every once in a while, you got to sit in it. I had a conversation with a couple of coaches last week, and it's like, we're going to slip, we're going to mess up, and this is one of ours, right? We're going to sit, we got to take our medicine, right? Yep. I'm a big believer in that. The whole actions have consequences. You're going to take your medicine. That doesn't mean anybody's giving up on you, doesn't care about you, or any of those things. But sometimes you get sick, and that cough syrup doesn't always taste good, but we got to take it. So
you're right. I mean, it's bless our wives, dude. I mean, it's Lauren the other day was saying something like, how can I help? It's like the classic wife, response of like, hey, I can't, I've tried, it's not working. How can I help? And my initial response was like, can you hire me to be an OC somewhere? Like, can you do that for me, please? And the truth was, like, kind of in that moment, I didn't tell her this, and obviously, like, I expressed probably who I am more on the podcast than I do to her. It's just, I feel like that's just a guy, honestly, as a man. But like, I just, in that moment, also, I was like, golly, like, how selfish am I being right now? I'm just like, yeah, like it's my purpose to be a coach, I feel like, but also like I can't sit here and just like on a weekly basis be an idiot because I'm not calling plays. Like that tells me I'm putting that over my family, and I cannot do that. So, but I will have my 5 or 10 minutes of me every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, where I might lose it, but after that I'm good. So moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Turn the hat around. Want to have a conversation. Expectations. Expectations of coaches. I'm going to jump up on my soapbox. I know I do that a lot, but I'm not going to lie. That's basically what this is. It's just a virtual soapbox. Sorry. I sent you a message about this, and part of it was venting. The other part was, mental note, because I think it's something that needs to be talked about. There's the coaching profession right now. And I know I'm blessed. I work in a state that makes it a full-time position. We get paid a very respectable wage. I'm not in a state where I have to have a full-time job and get a stipend from the local schools just so I can do what I love. I don't have to deal with that. Understand that. But what I also understand is that the things that we have the opportunity to do because of the structure that's been put in place, we're very blessed. And it's hard. you know, sometimes you work at a small school, sometimes you work at a big school. The smaller the school, the more you work for probably a little bit less money. But there's other non-monetary valuables that you cherish, and that's why you do it. But the thing that I can't stand is the growing epidemic within the coaching profession here in states where it's a full-time job of reactionary, stagnant behavior. If your version of coaching is to stand in a corner while kids work really hard with other coaches and have conversations that don't matter with a 46 or a 64 ounce cup of coffee or water or Coke or Diet, whatever it is, Kool-Aid, Spark, whatever it is. And then when you get asked a question or some kid inevitably does something wrong because they've realized they're not actually being supervised, and your response is to not move, right? But just to yell and address it. I just want to make it abundantly clear that that you're not good for the profession. And we're in a situation now because of the coaching shortage, because people are being chased out of the profession because of all the extras that get piled on in education. But you're holding a school district hostage because they're in a situation where it's like, okay, but like it's expensive to train new people. It's expensive to go through the hiring process. And, you know, we it's the devil, you know, type thing. We know what we're going to get, so we can just adjust our expectations. You're holding a school district hostage when the harsh reality is you're not very good at your job. And what I would love to see is an adaptation of behavior that doesn't require you to be the smartest coach in the room. It just requires you to work, right? Like if I've learned anything over the past 2.5 years, it's that I'm not looking to hire the next Sean McVay. I'm not looking to steal the next hot shot, like up and comer. Would I love to have them? Absolutely. But that's like number 4 on the qualifications. Do you love kids? Do you work hard? Are you coachable? Or if you get coaches that are coachable, shoot, you can accomplish anything, right? But Coach Browell's taught us a long time, motion causes emotion, right? Motion causes movement. So if you're moving, they're moving. If you're stagnant, they're going to find a way to be stagnant. They're going to be a reflection of you no matter what you do. So get up and get to work. This is the greatest job in the world. Why on God's green earth are you finding ways to make it hard? You're setting yourself up just to yell at kids. And if that's your prerogative, that's what you get, like that's what gets your juices flowing when you go to work, again, you're in the wrong profession. But the harsh reality of it is, like, just if you think there might be an issue, why not solve it before it comes up? Proactively go around, build the relationships with the kids, fix even if they're doing it right, just out loud say, hey, great job. Continue to remember to do this, right? Plant that seed. It's just like when you're on the sidelines, like, hey, don't fumble. Okay, well, guess what's about to happen, right? Speak it into existence. Fix the problem before it exists. Why is that such a strange concept? Why is it bothering me so much? And I think the reason it's bothering me is because when I see it, it's not the kid's fault, right? But they're the ones stuck in the situation.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a good little rant there. I think it's true, obviously. Like you know, Clark would always say as a coach, you know, your job is to be the guide, not a dictator. And then when your kids are on the field, you know, specifically at practice, like let them play, but what do you want them to look like, feel like, and sound like? And those all come from you and how you act. So you're right. I mean, they are a direct reflection of you as a coach. And so if you're doing the whole Route 44 Diet Pepsi, which like that always gets me. It's like, really, like you're gonna hit the Route 44 size, but it's diet, so it's all good.
And then yell on the side of the track, let's go, pick it up.
Yeah, it's just
or set it down. Here's a thought, set it down.
It's just people that have, to me, those are people that are going to work every day with selfish intentions and not understanding the impact they could potentially be making, and knowing that's not about you. Which again, like that's the biggest blessing I'm getting out of what my current circumstances now is. Like I get to go to Vanderbilt right now, you know, and see them every once in a while and see the coaches interact and this and that. And I see the young coaches and the ego that's involved with them and it's just like, again, from my perspective, I'm like, you guys, like, you're making this way too complicated. You're complaining about this, you're complaining about that, and you're in your own world, and you have no idea the opportunity you have. And if you knew that, and you had that bigger of a picture with what you chose to do that day, you would be lit on fire to go do whatever it is that you're doing, whether it's coaching track or whatever it may be. So they just lost the vision, in my opinion. So
Imagine how good of a coach you're going to be next season or whenever the next is, right?
I'm going to look like a complete psychopath on my first day of practice. I will not stop talking. I'm just going to,
You're going to sound like every strength coach in the early 2000s. It's just like, it's all one sentence for 40 minutes. They just, it's just a string of words and they all matter, but they just never take a breath. They're just constantly talking.
And if I'm an OC, I'm not really, because like I'm a family guy first, but like I'm going to be up there grinding. And coach is going to be like, can we please go home? No. You know what it's like not to be able to do this?
Yeah, you can go home. And then what if they tell you not to come back? What are you going to do then? Or you're going to wish you were here for 7 more minutes.
No. I will say, though, moving forward, and then we can move on to another topic. But like this also it's like a great, like the time I've missed on my family because I have been coaching, which I'm getting back right now. With my newborn, it's like, okay, like whenever I do become that in a position of what you are in now, like I'm going to make it a thing to like coaches, like get out of here. Like if your daughters are performing in the halftime show like yours, like go see it. Like there's nothing more important than that at the end of the day. Like nothing. So go be with your family as much as you can. Have your coach as a better coach. Yeah.
Dude, you want to talk about dropping the ball on that whole thing? So set the stage. We played this past Friday at home, and the previous Saturday they'd had little kids cheer camp, and our 4-year-old daughter, our 4-year-old daughter is locked in. She is Miss Cheer. And then Lane, our oldest, is a junior high cheerleader. She helped with it. She's helping on Friday nights. She's all in on cheer too. And so I get the information, hey, they're performing at halftime. Kelly and I are talking like, is it the beginning? Is it the end? And I was like, it'd be really beneficial if it was one of those. And she was like, well, it's in the middle. And I was like, of course it is. So we're in there at halftime. Boom, boom, boom. We're on the dry erase board. We're making adjustments. We're doing our thing. And then I get a text message from her and our girls coordinator, hey, the cheer girls are starting. And like, throw the marker down. I was like, you guys got it. See ya. And I take off running, right? And I'm just trying to watch Miss Parker Jane, just own the field, right? And stupid me though, our O-line coach, his daughter is in 3rd or 4th grade. She went to the camp too, right?
Oh.
And our DB's coach, who I coached in high school, his daughter's 5, and she went to the camp too. And I just like tunnel visioned, ran out the door, and then the realization set in. It's like, I probably should have been like, hey guys, you need to come with me. Like, let's go. So missed opportunity there, but it's very much in the Bruce Arians, like if you miss your daughter's recital, like you're fired. Like we're not going to put, we had one of our coaches, he's a veteran coach. He was in the Metroplex for a long time. He's a great dude. He's a great coach. He's great for the kids in the program. And he was like, all right, well, this was like our first Saturday. He was like, well, I'm going to come up, but coach, are you okay if I leave early? And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's fine. Where are you going? He was like, oh, Tanner's got some flag football games, and it's in it was like Grand Saline or Queens. I don't know, somewhere that's not close. And I was like, or here's an idea. You could just go to that. And he was like, well, no, they don't play until. I was like, yeah, cool. You're going to come up here, and then something's going to happen on I-30, and you're going to be late, and like I'm going to feel like a terrible person. So you're banned from the office tomorrow morning. He was like, well, no. I said, are you an adult? Can you do your job on your computer? And do your job on your computer and go. And and he did, and Tanner's one of our ball boys, and he's a great kid. We're excited to have him around and be part of the future of the program. But like that's what it's all about. Like
it is.
That was probably top speed for me in the past 5 years, running out of the locker room to the sideline to try and see Parker and Lane on the field. So
yeah, I saw the picture. It was cool. And again, I think it's really cool of you to do that because it again, as a head coach, you are the example. And so every movement you make sets a precedent for a principle that you stand for. And so those coaches and players, and obviously based on the post, parents can see that. So that's important. there's that. There's my kids, by the way, screaming. So it's good.
Love to hear it.
Yeah.
Last thing, if little Cade's not freaking out too much, I just found out that, Arch Manning has the world on fire from a college football's perspective. He's cooled off a little bit. He's got a little shoulder thing, blah, blah, blah. I still think he's going to be great. I think he's going to come back to Texas next year, and it's going to solidify him, whatever. But I also found out that there's another Manning prodigy coming up in your neck of the woods with, I believe it's Peyton's son at Baylor. Baylor, is it Baylor Prep or Baylor High? I don't know what they call it.
I mean, it's a boarding school.
It's red, which they look like modern day, but
yeah. They I just found this out too recently. It's like an elite school. They're starting to become basically IMG. They're in our league, which we talked about that before. It's kind of weird because we are the only state that allows a boarding school. There's actually two to compete with non-boarding schools. So but their head coach, Coach Kimmery, I think he was the tight ends coach at South Carolina when Will Muschamp was there, which is why his son Witt was the quarterback there. They have the number one running back in the country. He's the best running back I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's not even close. And you can go play in the NFL right now. And that's not an exaggeration. Challenge anybody to go watch him. He will be the best you'll ever see in your life. And college coaches have said the exact same thing to me too. After I told them, and classic response from a college to high school coach, yeah, sure. And then, because we're just high school coaches, you and I. And then they came back to me. Both of them were like, in my 15 or 20 years of coaching, I've never seen a kid this good in my entire life. Yeah, I wasn't lying to you.
Hey, Coach, you weren't kidding about that. You're right.
Yeah.
I wasn't. I was right. And you should have remembered that then.
Yeah. But point being is that's a really, really good school to go to. And I guess it's kind of home for Peyton anyways, roughly. So.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Because, one of the things that people, especially after the Ohio State game, they love to circle back on with Arch was that this is the first time he's playing top-notch competition. Look at the kids that he played in high school. And it's okay, yeah, well, this version's not going to have that problem.
It will not,
because they're playing dogs every week.
That's every week.
So it'll be fun to see what happens there. And if he goes to Tennessee, if he goes to Ole Miss, if he goes to Texas, who knows? But who's Vandy got this week?
It's Georgia State.
Okay.
So, Georgia State, and then Utah State, and then we're getting the big boys.
Yeah, buddy.
So it'll be good.
Well, we play the Atlanta Rabbits. They got C.J. Whaley. He's Chris Whaley's son. He's 6'6", 200 pounds. He's a pretty good football player. But we're pretty much in the same boat that we've been in. Week 1 of the season we were 43-point dogs. Week 2 of the season we were 39-point dogs.
Wait, really?
And then this past week we were 21-point dogs, and now we're 58-point dogs. So it's cool. We're just gonna do what we do, and maybe one day we'll be favored in a game. But if not, that's fine. We don't mind being here. We're coming out the mud, baby. MVT.